So the hurricane hit, and I was a pretty little kid at the time, but I was old enough that I was still watching TV. I was seeing the water rise, and I was seeing national news talk about how the city was never gonna come back, it was never gonna reopen. And you know, that's scary. Like, having all that instability in your life and going from school to school and not really feeling welcome at your hurricane school, just losing that tie to your hometown, it's strange.
We left the Sunday before Katrina, went to Lafayette, thought we would be gone for 3 days. Seems like, you know, it was forever. I pulled out the map of all the facilities where my company was located and asked my kids and my husband, okay, so if we wanted to start all over, now's the great opportunity to start all over. Where do you want to go? And my husband and 3 kids all looked at me like my head was twisted and said they were going home. So that's why we chose to come back. We needed somebody to come back and help rebuild the city. And at that point in time, I started trying to figure out how I can contribute personally to the rebuilding of the schools.
As most people are aware, there's no place like home, and that rings true especially for New Orleanians. There's no place like New Orleans. And so despite the devastation of 2005, families were looking forward to the opportunity to return to New Orleans, the place that they called home.
I was hired by USGBC to be here for 2 years to work with the school system to make their schools healthier, greener, LEED certified.
Just the infrastructure at that time was really, really fragile. We were still trying to get kids into modular buildings. We were still trying to fix some of the least damaged buildings. And when Anissa jumped in, it was just like a breath of fresh air, a relief. We didn't know what we were really doing. It was a new concept, and we just let her roll. And she just took over, took charge, and created this wonderful thing for us. She would work with the architects, work with the engineers, work with the program managers, and guide them.
The Recovery School District is a state entity that was founded to help schools across the state with academic recovery. After Hurricane Katrina, it took control of the local schools in New Orleans to help with the rebuilding, and has been gradually giving schools back to local control.
Coming back, it felt like such a relief, because you've been to so many different schools, and you're finally with your friends, and you're finally with your old teachers, and you just feel so relieved and so safe and so comfortable. And then you can finally focus on learning and like doing the stuff that the school is there for you to do. Having this aspiration to build everything back better, I think that was a really rallying point for the community. Like, it's even better than before. That was really, really important to New Orleans, and I think that LEED played a big role in it.
This area, New Orleans East, that the Fannie C. Williams is located, was devastated tremendously by the storm. And so we were just so fortunate to be a part of that rebuilding process. We were able to rebuild a school, we're getting new businesses in the area, and families are able to rebuild their home. And so it just brings the community full circle to have a place to work, to go to school, and to live. We're just so glad that we're able to be a part of the rebuilding of this community with a building such as this one.
We get so many thank you notes from the children when they move into a new building saying, thank you for caring about us, because the building shows them that they're respected and loved.
This year, 9 schools are opening their doors to students around the city. 27 schools are in the pipeline for LEED certification, and more are on their way to kids in New Orleans.
We're moving towards the future, and we're planning for the future. We're moving forward.